Hello there, and welcome back to another weekly recap where we look at stuff Bethesda have said and done, and we kind of talk about it. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So there's been a lot of rumors circulating around new Starfield information, and initially I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be more kind of questionable stuff, moving the goalpost. I seen people mentioning April, so I went and looked it up, and basically there's a few articles, but the the main kind of article I'm going to reference here comes from a Polish website. It's called PPE or ppe.pl, and basically what excuse me. So basically the whole what the article kind of talks about is essentially this website has a reliable leaker that has leaked on stuff in the past, and they're pretty much confirming that Starfield will be coming to PlayStation. It basically goes on to say, with the release of Microsoft Flight Sim ported on the PlayStation 5, as well as the preparation for the box version of Oblivion Remaster, Graz Desari, sorry, I'm very bad at butchering that's the username or name, I apologize, told us that Starfield in the Standard and Premium Edition will debut on PlayStation 5 consoles on April 7th, 2026. Thus, the announcement of Starfield on PlayStation 5 is probably a matter of a few, maybe dozen or so days, combined with the rumor of the big 2.0 update, as well as the February edition of the State of Play PlayStation will receive. So that's basically all it really says, is they're confirming that the game is coming to... Again, I say confirm because, to be completely clear on it, the person who has, like, leaked this, they've got a few things wrong, but they've also got a few things right. So I suppose take it with a pinch of salt. Realistically, we knew it was coming to PlayStation at some point. You know, like, that's just kind of Microsoft / Xbox's game plan at this point. I think they've realized that exclusives aren't really the strat from a monetary point of view. Look at Call of Duty, for example. There was rumors that they were going to hold off Call of Duty and not put it on PlayStation, but they realized that they make more money off of it on PlayStation than they do on Xbox. So yeah, it makes sense. There's more PlayStation players than there's Xbox players. Now, this only talks about the PlayStation launch, which again we knew was coming. There's no information about like the 2.0 update, and to be completely honest with you, I feel like if Bethesda holds off their big updates, like the Terran Armada, if they hold that off until the PlayStation launch, it's going to upset a lot of fans, including myself, because it will feel like we have been glorified beta testers, you know? Like, imagine, like, waiting a year and a half, almost 2 years, nearly. Probably 2 years soon. No, it'll be 2 years in the end of September. Like, imagine waiting, like, basically over a year for content to come out. You know, you've been really hyping, you've been hoping for content, you've been buying paid mods, both good and both questionable. And then Bethesda's like, oh, don't worry, guys, we've got, like, new content coming out, but it's also alongside the PlayStation. The PlayStation launch. You may be thinking, well, Crimson, what's the problem with that? You know, like, more players, shouldn't you be happy? And don't get me wrong, I'm very happy. Sorry, I'm just getting over a flu. I'm very happy that, like, you know, more players are going to play the game. It's going to be a boon to the game. However, it's very insulting to, you know, like, people who have been kind of keeping the game going, kind of buying stuff, playing the game. It's like you should be trying to appease those fans first, the fans that you promised the content was going to be coming, you know, the fans that you promised 10 years of content. Maybe it's 10 years of silence. So while this has been going on and Bethesda have been saying nothing, as usual, nothing, has Bethesda learned? Are they still being tone deaf? Yeah, they're being tone deaf. So they released a trailer for, I believe, Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition on the Switch. Which is going to be interesting. Switch 2, I apologize. So yeah, so the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, is it out now on Switch? I'm just gonna check, actually. But the Switch 2, I don't know too much about, like, oh yeah, it released on the 24th. Okay, so it comes out soon. It's $60. I don't know if... Like, look, I suppose allowing more people to play the game is cool, but considering Anniversary Edition is in a dire straits, you know, there's issues with the mods and stuff, the mod load order size being crap, you know, being like, yeah, very low. There's been no actual bug fixes. The game is now buggier. People still can't play the game. And for Bethesda to go and be like, oh, we're going to just port it over to Switch 2 and make some more money. It's like, again, it's like, Bethesda, how tone deaf are you? Like, honestly, like, again, as somebody who is a Starfield fan, I understand the silence, you know, but like as a Fallout fan, like maybe you should be announcing some stuff. Like, again, we're almost 2 weeks into February and there's no information on when and where Fallout 4 is going to get its update. You know, like what's going on, Bethesda? Are we have you just deadened the idea of Fallout 4? Getting any updates? I mean, it would be really awesome if you were to maybe obviously, you know, increase the mod size, but also maybe like improve some features, like make the game run a little bit better. On PC, it requires mods to basically allow it to load smoothly, otherwise loading times are crazy. On Xbox, doesn't really have that issue. However, on Xbox, there is performance issues when you go to Boston. These issues have been prevalent since the game first came out. And again, I feel like we're beating a dead horse here, but I feel like it needs to be said. I know they also mentioned that I think Oblivion Remaster is coming to Nintendo Switch as well, which is interesting because Oblivion Remaster, I played it, I enjoyed it for the most part, but the performance wasn't the best, and I never played it on Xbox. It was one of the few games I didn't play on Xbox. I just played it on I played it on PC primarily just because I'm not sure if there was cross-platform saves at the time. But apparently the performance is god-awful on both, which I'm not shocked. Like, I had an enjoyable experience on the PC, but there was obviously some FPS issues, like when you go to like areas around Anvil and stuff, the FPS drops tremendously, and the kind of the in-game options, like the kind of the gameplay settings, you know, like the display settings and stuff that you would see with PC games, they weren't very optimized. I was like looking through like various different, you know, like frame gen and stuff, and like even without like frame gen, there was a lot of issues with kind of graphical issues, like not nothing serious necessarily, but like if you like look too closely at certain objects like walls and roads and stuff, it gets a bit, you know. Not to mention there can be serious ghosting issues. So Bethesda, again, and that's not necessarily on Bethesda, that's obviously on Virtuos. But at the same time, it would be nice to get like some, you know, some clarification on what's going on. Also, so the final of the TV show for episode 2 of the Fallout TV show came out last week, last Tuesday, I think, or last Wednesday. It came out late, and I will say I was very hyped with it. Thought it was awesome. Minor spoilers here, but NCR rules. I don't think I've ever said that before. I've always been a bit of a kind of a, you know, yes man sort of thing. I always thought the NCR were a bit too, you know, but like as I grow older and realize that I'm not a child and like the NCR are probably the only good guys in Vegas. But yeah, it was really, really good. And did Bethesda capitalize on this? Kind of. They had Maximus's actor star in a kind of a little advertisement campaign telling you to go play other games such as Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 3, and I think even Fallout Shelter. Now, you may be thinking, oh, well, that's not a problem. It kind of is a problem when that they've got Fallout 3 and Fallout 3 Remaster and Fallout 3 Remaster and Fallout New Vegas Remaster are in the works, with Fallout 3 Remaster probably being ready to go at this point. You know, it's been in the works alongside Oblivion from the leaks years ago. So for them to be like, yo, go rebuy our games, which I feel like there will be a lot of people that will, you know, people who have not really familiar with the Fallout franchise after watching the TV show, they're going to want to play New Vegas and Fallout 3 and stuff, you know, because that's, honestly, that's really good points in the Fallout franchise, and it's kind of the start of Bethesda's journey. I know New Vegas isn't, but bite me. That being said, it just makes me think that, like, again, I don't even know, like, what way to think with it, because, like, from a business point of view, if you were going to be launching, you know, like an updated version of Fallout 3 and New Vegas at some point in, like, the near future, and by the near future, I mean some point, like, say, the next 6 months, why would you go and kind of, you know, tell your fan base to, you know, why would you go and tell your fan base, hello, Timmy, to essentially buy a previous version of the game? You know, it doesn't make sense. Now, does Bethesda ever make sense these days? I don't really know, to be honest with you. Like, you could look at this a couple of ways. I suppose, best case scenario, Bethesda don't really care about selling multiple products of the same type. And by that I mean, like, that more than likely we might still see the remaster coming soon. Worst case scenario, the remaster's not coming for quite a while, you know, because if, again, that's on the premise that Bethesda are going to not be advertising a product that they're eventually going to be updating and be outdated. I know there's stuff going on crazy with Steam, but to be honest with you, there's been so much information, like, since Starfield's kind of lack of content, like, there's been all talk almost every day, like, oh, some stuff are changing on Steam. That fucking doesn't help us. Yeah. Like, the thing is, rumors are going to go crazy with everything. And I think with Bethesda specifically, I would like to have hoped that, you know, at some point they would stick their head, you know, out the door and, like, give us some kind of clarification. I may be thinking, oh, Crimson, why would they do that? Well, other companies have. Like, I always harken back to Halo 343 now, Halo Studios. There's been a lot of times when, like, say, for instance, there might have been a new release on the horizon or something coming out, or maybe there wasn't. And, like, if rumors start to speculate way too wildly, 343's community manager will come out and say, look, that's a rumor. There's no truth behind that, you know? Which I've always been very grateful of, because it tempers expectation. Which I think is the biggest issue with Bethesda right now, is they're not tempering anything, you know? Like, they're... yeah, they're just... I mean, it's a shit show, to put it plainly. Like, Gary's looking at me like, why do we do this every week, Crimson? Like, we know what's going to happen. Nothing's coming. And it's valid, Gary, as Cora looks over my shoulder weirdly. But yeah, it's... I don't know. It frustrates me, because all it would take would, for any of the issues, for Starfield, all it would take for Starfield issues is for Bethesda to come out and be like, look, we've got content coming, we're not exactly, you know, we're not 100% on it, but, like, we're hoping to aim for summer, you know, like, that's cool. Okay, we have some sort of a, you know, point. With the Fallout stuff, be like, yo, we're sorry, like, that we had issues with the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, like, there's been a lot of issues with it, and we realized that. And, like, we apologize to the fans. We are working hard to try and get the mod load order increase out. It's been a little bit trickier to do. You know, they could give us some jargon that wouldn't even have to be half true, but at least they would be acknowledging it, you know? Like, they have been giving, like, free stuff. And to be honest with you, again, from a kind of a PR point of view, they're kind of letting these free creations go to waste. Now, there's probably a level of them not mentioning the free stuff too much because it's not on PlayStation, and it probably won't be on Switch. Which is kind of hilarious, because the Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition launching on Switch, I mean, if you want to play Fallout, you know, you want to enjoy it for the first time, you know, you could definitely get some joy from it. But the Anniversary Edition, for anyone not familiar, the whole point of that was to sell you paid mods. That's all it really was for, you know, to kind of... And there's nothing inherently wrong with that, I suppose, because there's some really talented paid mods out there. Paid mod authors. There's also some fucking questionable ones. But yeah, so... I don't know if Fallout exists on... Does Fallout exist on, Switch? Let me check. Fallout 4 Switch. Does Fallout 4... No, it doesn't exist on Switch. So this will be the first... This will be the first, like, time, Fallout will basically come on Switch, okay? And they're giving a version that's basically... Which is a weird one. Because, like, I understand it, like, they're... Like, they wouldn't want to go and give you, like, the Fallout 4 Game of the Year edition. But then there's no real improvements to it, you know? Like, I can't imagine how it will run on the Switch because, like, again, I know that the Switch 2 is quite powerful for a handheld console, but... Fallout 4 runs pretty abysmal on PC and Xbox. Like, it doesn't... Don't get me wrong. It doesn't run bad, but... I wouldn't say it's a constant 60 FPS 4K experience. I don't even know what the resolution... I know it claims to be 60 FPS in some regions, but like if they were going to do like an anniversary edition update, like they could have at least thrown in some stuff like that, like a 4K 60, you know, with the ability to do 2K 120. It's a 10-year-old fucking game, and like it's very clear. Like look at Starfield, like that's 10 years on. And like Starfield runs quite well on Xbox for a game that's, you know, more substantial in a lot of the time, a lot of the stuff it does. So yeah, like I'm not really sure. Anybody who is like actively played, like say for instance, like if you're playing, like let's say for instance, if you played Skyrim on the Nintendo Switch, like how has that experience been for you? Like I know I would personally, if it was me, I would probably prefer to play Skyrim either on Xbox, sorry, not PlayStation. If you want to, I mean, if you want to get the core Skyrim experience, you can play it on whatever. But I think Skyrim, one of the big things about Skyrim is, you know, once you've played through the game and all the DLCs, it's modding. To which your best benefit to kind of explore modding would either be Xbox or PC. Xbox being, you know, modding is kind of easier to do because yeah, you're less likely to break stuff. Sadly, PlayStation has its issues with the modding, so I wouldn't recommend PlayStation, obviously PC being the big one. But yeah, so for people that have played it, like how is it played? And I know there's a lot of people that, like, you know, Nintendo is going to be their primary gaming outlook. Like Xbox is mine. Like, for people that are kind of, you know, like, is there people out there that maybe, like, say you have a Switch and you're looking forward to playing Fallout for the first time? Like, if you are on Switch, like, what's stopping you from, let's say, you know, playing it on PC if you have a PC, or what's stopping you from going out and buying an Xbox or PlayStation? And I know you'd be thinking, well, the price of it, you know, is crazy, but I just do wonder because, like, I don't know the performance or anything like that, but I just feel like if I'm a Switch player, right, and it's my first time, let's say I've watched the TV show and it's my first time kind of jumping into Fallout, and I'm like, I'd love to jump into Fallout, and I don't know, it's weird. Like Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, I don't know how it's going to run. If you Google like any sort of information about Anniversary Edition, you're going to get references to paid mods and modding and stuff, and that's not really an aspect that I think Switch does. Again, it would have made far more sense. Like the Oblivion Remaster coming kind of makes sense if they can get the performance right, because it's essentially just like a 20-year-old game at this point that's, you know, got a coat of makeup on it to make it run shittier. But it looks nice. It does look nice. Like they could have easily held out and then done like the Fallout 3 Anniversary Edition or Fallout 3 Remaster, which would have probably ran better on the Switch than Fallout 4, because again, it's like a 20-year-old game that's been like upscaled and stuff. But I don't know. The more and more we see this, the more it's clear that like Bethesda's just trying to make as much moolah as possible, which I don't mind that. I have no problem with that. Bethesda, I think I've said many times, I would have no problem giving you money directly. Todd Howard, you open your pocket, I will deposit money in that pocket if you give us content. But you're not really giving us content. Like Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition, there's nothing, you know? There's no real reason for me to kind of hype up Bethesda because there's nothing Bethesda. Bethesda remastered the game. That's cool. What remastering do they do? Oh, paid mods. Cool. Have you increased the paid mod size? No. Like, you've worked alongside mod authors to make, like, Bethesda Presented, but, like, even those paid mods have had issues and stuff, and don't get me wrong, they've been good, but it's not Bethesda content or quality I would enjoy, you know? Like Starfield, same issue. Like, where's the content? We've been relying on mod authors, and I'm going to be honest with you, like, even at the best of time with mod authors making content, they're not going to be, or they shouldn't be able to compete with a AAA studio worth fucking billions. Now there is some mod authors that definitely have competed and overachieved. You know who you are. Very nice. But yeah, I don't understand it, and I will continue to not understand it, because every day we get, like, you know, more into 2026, I just don't understand. Like, Bethesda, the ship is sinking, all right, and you can't plug the hole at this point, you know, like, I don't know what you can do, to be honest with you. I mean, you could try plugging the hole, but there's more water in the ship than there is in the fucking ocean around it, which is scientifically probably inaccurate. But the kind of, it highlights the point of, you know, we're up shit creek without a paddle and without a boat. There was a boat promised, but you needed to pay money, and yeah, I don't know. That money went to fucking some mod author. Didn't know what a boat was, so he, yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Obviously, we're just gonna have to wait and see. April is the new big thing now, you know. April, oh, this is where, like, all of the kind of the I use the term, like, the sweepers. It's kind of a term that kind of a few people in my community like to use, and sometimes I get called a sweeper. For anyone familiar, sweeper is somebody who will, like, sweep, you know, sweep for Bethesda. Like, anything bad happens, they'll just sweep it out of the way and ignore it. I have been partial to sweep a little bit, but I feel like a lot of people, like, are going to be like, oh, don't worry guys, like, April in 2 months, April, you know, April in 4 months, or what, like 2 months from April will be fucking June, and, like, by that point people be getting ready for GTA, and you're thinking, oh well, Crimson, like, you know, not every, I realize that even if Starfield and Fallout's content came out alongside GTA, there'd still be players playing it, because yeah, a lot of the, yeah, obviously there wouldn't be that many, but it just kind of highlights again, like, what are you doing with it? Like, last year's window would have been perfect for, like, a Starfield, like, kind of update. And, like, the first 6 months of this year will be the time when you want to get your games and content out, because GTA is looming. And there's rumors that even that Halo is going to be coming out at some point in summer, the anniversary edition, because they don't want to tangle with Halo, or they don't want to tangle with Halo. They don't want to tangle with GTA. Nobody wants to. You know, yeah, I don't know. I suppose we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see how it goes. That's pretty much it. I will say, with the kind of the mod stuff, I want to kind of leave this as a question to you guys. So obviously some mods came out last week on Fallout 4, and, you know, some mods come out on Starfield. But the Fallout 4 mod, there was one mod in particular. It was like a camping mod that, it was by an author that did the exact same camping mod on Starfield, and I initially didn't do a review of it because I didn't want to give publicity to it, because it's just you know, they're just basically rehashing their shit and reselling on a different game. But there's a part of me that wonders, like, would you guys prefer if I, like, even if I covered stuff like that, and kind of, like, I suppose, would you rather I don't cover it, and kind of the whole idea behind not covering is not giving these things attention, or would you rather I did cover it and kind of voice my opinion on why I think it's not worth it? Because I feel like, obviously, doing that, it's more likely to get people that will buy. Like, the amount of times I've done reviews of mods and be like, this is not worth it, and I've given reasons to why it's not worth it, and then people in the comments like, this is the best mod ever, I'm gonna buy it. You know, it's like, well, you're an idiot, but okay, your money, I suppose. But yeah, let me know what you think. And yeah, I will be doing some Starfield tomorrow, when this goes live today. Starfield stuff today. Hopefully we get some paid mods. I also want to keep doing Stellaris. That was quite fun. I know everyone's probably like, oh, what's Stellaris? I have been doing Stellaris is a kind of a real-time 4X strategy game where you basically make a faction and you're in the universe, the galaxy, fighting other creatures or other factions. You can be friendly with them, you can be, like, neutral, you can be hostile. So I've decided I'm going to create House Faroon, and it's been going okay so far. I may have lost my entire fleet trying to take on a pirate group on my borders, but it's been interesting. I'll probably jump back in maybe Wednesday, play a little bit. I know there's still the Fallout playthrough and stuff. I will definitely do that, but I've been trying to just kind of mix it up a little bit. There's a part of me that wants to kind of jump back into Starfield. I've been really hankering to make some ships. I've been playing an Alien Dark Descent, I think it is, and some of the ships in it look awesome. Obviously, alien ships are kind of, you know, the core sci-fi, but it's just kind of waiting, you know, like I just want to wait and see what's going to happen. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and catch you in the next one. Bye bye.